What is up, guys? As always, we're here to keep you up to date on all the latest in pro wrestling, and WWE Crown Jewel just went down. Probably WWE's best Crown Jewel pay-per-view, honestly. So let's go ahead and talk about what went down and the top 5 things of this year's Crown Jewel event. And I figured we start this one with a big discussion, and that is Edge taking on Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell. That actually ended up opening the show. We did have a kickoff show matchup in which the Usos defeated the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, but nothing ended up beating this Hell in a Cell. I think it was perfect to end the feud of Seth Rollins and Edge, a feud which honestly has been one of the best this year. And the awesome part about this is that it actually lived up to what a Hell in a Cell needs to be nowadays, but that we don't get. This is easily one of the best Hell in a Cell matches that we have gotten over the last 5 years or so, because it had everything. This was literally a tables, a ladders, and chairs Hell in a Cell matchup, and this is what it needs every single time. It needs those weapons in there for the superstars to get vicious, and for us to just feel like they're locked in this quote-unquote hell. In one of the spot, we had Seth Rollins bouncing off the cell and crashing down onto a table that was on the outside. Seth Rollins also delivered the curb stomp while his foot was fully wrapped up with a chain. We thought Edge was out. Edge managed to get a crazy counter, low blowing him with a steel chair. In the end, Edge picked up the victory with the curb stomp. So what a great way to end this whole feud. We got 3 awesome matches between these two superstars, and this last one literally turned out to be their best one. And again, the most important thing, a Hell in a Cell that actually feels like a Hell in a Cell. I'm number 4. I'm gonna keep it sweet and simple, and don't hate me for saying this, but Goldberg's match was actually okay. It wasn't a train wreck as a lot of us were expecting, because that is what you're supposed to expect nowadays when it comes to a Goldberg matchup. The most awesome thing in this match though was definitely at the end, when we got to see Goldberg deliver his best spear so far, spearing Bobby Lashley off the stage, crashing down onto a bunch of tables. Again, don't hate me for this. I just had to put it in here because we usually don't get a good Goldberg match. Some things usually goes horribly wrong. Surprisingly enough, even though with a couple of botches, things actually went a bit smoother than expected. So credit where it's due, I guess. And of course, Goldberg was like bleeding 15 seconds into the match. It was a small one, so he wasn't really dripping. Instead, at the end, Bobby Lashley seems to have gotten cut on his arm in one of the spots. The next awesome thing that happened at Crown Jewel was, of course, that we got good old King Woods getting that crown respectfully. Tonight, we got the finals of both tournaments. We had Zelina Vega defeating Doudrop in a match that was like a minute longer than all of the other matches in the tournament, but nonetheless, it was decent, and Zelina Vega had some really good spot, and so did Doudrop. In the end, Vega picked up the victory. And on the men's side of things, we had Finn Balor versus Xavier Woods in a really good matchup. Really good back and forth, one-on-one between them. I'm actually surprised that WWE gave us what we wanted, although I wouldn't have been mad if Finn Balor would have won here. It's clear that Finn Balor needs a massive victory after losing to Roman and now this. But going for Xavier Woods was the right thing to do. This is his childhood dream. We have known this for years now, and I think WWE knows that people were gonna be more pissed if they had him lose than actually win. And in case you guys didn't get the theme of the night, I'm actually impressed with how many crazy good matches we got tonight. The SmackDown Women's Championship Triple Threat match was also really good. Something that impressed me a lot was a lot of the sequences that we had between these 3, Becky, Sasha Banks, and Bianca. There were just so many counters back and forth in so many situations where the 3 were in the ring and they were attacking each other back and forth, where a lot of the time we don't really get that in triple threat matches. Someone usually just rolls out of the ring and let the other 2 fight. To be fair, there were some spots that were like that in this match, but it didn't feel like it because there was a lot of action between the 3 of them at the same time. And Becky Lynch, like the typical heel that she is, picked up the victory at the end. So let me guess, now they're just gonna switch title. There's probably gonna do a cheesy segment where where Charlotte ends up swapping the title with Becky. Now, before we get into that number one awesome moment, which of course was the main event, let's talk about what also went down tonight. As I mentioned, one of the good things was that we had some really good matches. Big E defeated Drew McIntyre in that WWE Championship matchup. We had RK Bro retaining against AJ Styles and Omos. Mansoor, who of course got a massive pop, defeated Ali, and they gave the crowd a really awesome moment right after. Point is, a Mansoor streak continues. And of course, the most hyped up and awesome moment of the night has to go with Roman Reigns versus Brock. It was just too awesome seeing Brock Lesnar come back. I definitely miss Suplex City. This was a clean one-on-one matchup. No crazy spots, but these two guys gave us a really good wrestling match. Roman Reigns diving out of the ring into Brock Lesnar. Couple of Superman punch, a couple of near falls, of course. Brock Lesnar with 2 F5, literally thought he had it right there. That big moment though came at the end when Paul Heyman slided the title into the ring right in the middle of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and he's like, you know what to do with it. But we as the audience have no idea if Paul Heyman was doing this for Brock or Roman Reigns. This was a smart strategy by Paul because either way it could have worked out for him. If Brock would have used the title to win the match, Paul Heyman probably would have walked out with him. But Roman was the one to do just that. So Paul Heyman is safe once again. Smart man, not picking side but also picking at the same time. And not really a shocker here, but of course there's already reports indicating that Brock Lesnar is not going to be back onto the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So him losing to Roman Reigns here, but also ending the way that it did, simply sets it up for another matchup at either the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, if Brock is not part of the Royal Rumble matchup itself, or of course very likely that we could be headed into another WrestleMania main event matchup between these two. And since Roman is the one who's going to be on television weekly, having him retain the title here, but also doing it in a screwy way because we also had the Usos getting involved in all of this and helping out Roman after the referee was taken out, leaves everything open for the rematch. Let me know down in the comments below which matchup was your favorite here tonight, and are you excited for Roman versus Brock once again? You know what to do to continue being up to date. Hit those notifications, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Chances are that if you don't, Brock Lesnar might take you to Suplex City, so you really don't want to take that chance, much like Paul Heyman. Play it safe. Anyways guys, I'll catch you on the next one, so stay savage.